Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a Blaze casting presentation, bringing you guys a game between eL'Pride and Mad Gaming, part of the BroTournament. It's in the semifinals now, and I do have an issue with the webcam going on, but hopefully we'll fix that in just a second. But yeah, other than that, thank you guys so much for tuning in. This is the semifinals matchup of the BroTournament. So this is the $2,000 tournament. That's the end of season of the December season specifically. So we're going to be looking into who's going to be getting into that. I think $1,000 prize pool for first place there. So eL'Pride, Vigoss is on that team, Stock LP, kind of the carry player and drafter for the team, and then going up against Mad Gaming. Now, to be completely honest, I don't know too much about Mad Gaming personally, but I do know that they have taken down the 3D Max team, which they play very aggressively, so kind of same style as eL'Pride. But I am joined myself, I am Blaze Casting, and I am joined by Blightwind, formerly of GGNet. How's it going, man?
That's going alright, thanks for having me on here. And yeah, I mean, I casted Mad Gaming's first game, and they definitely seem like one of those teams that has potential. There was a few things I noticed that, you know, they could definitely sharpen up and stuff like that, but they remind me a lot of like when Bottom first came onto the scene. You can tell that they're dedicated people, they're skilled players, and honestly, if you just give them some time, and as long as they keep at this, I bet we could see some very good things out of them.
Yeah, definitely. One thing, I've casted a lot of 3D Max just in the league itself. And, I didn't even cover any games of this tournament, but I've casted a lot of their games in general, and they like to play a very aggressive gank-oriented style play, maybe pick up Night Stalker, CK West, that kind of stuff. And the one game that I casted yesterday of eL'Pride, they were actually kind of performing that exact same strategy. They did have a bit of a backup plan with a Lifestealer farming up on top lane, but meanwhile, all of the other 4 heroes were all across the map playing very, very aggressively. But if the 3D Max dropped down to Mad Gaming playing the exact same style, the question is, will eL'Pride be able to adapt and bring their strategy to an appropriate circumstance where they can actually compete with Mad Gaming specifically? I mean, Phoenix, obviously they made it this far, and the person who hits 4th place will be only bringing down $50, but everybody else will be above that and beyond, so 250, 500, 1,000, that kind of thing. So hopefully, whichever team goes on through here will be able to make it to the finals, and I'm really, really looking forward to seeing some aggressive play coming out of both teams here.
Oh yeah, and I'm sure we'll have some great games. I mean, as far as the draft goes, things are pretty standard so far. I mean, we're seeing a Batrider who's been extremely popular lately. Nyx Assassin has been run as a support quite a bit, because of the fact that one of the big things with supports is when you go to trade hits, Nyx Assassin is able to use that Spike Carapace to ignore a lot of that damage. So when even just simply trading auto attacks, he's got that slight advantage. And then Queen of Pain, that kind of fits in with eL'Pride aggressive style. She'll be able to run around just bursting people down, but then the Rubik will be able to cause them to think twice about that. Don't want to have Sonic Wave be stolen or anything like that.
Now, one thing you'll have to note is that the reverse time is taken down pretty quickly. Mad Gaming a little bit more hard pressed to draft up right here. Only 13 seconds left. They did have a bit of a penalty as we were starting off a little bit late, but, you know, mildly a slap on the wrist as long as they can get their head in as far as in the drafting goes. But one way or another, yeah, the Queen of Pain, once you get some experience advantage, if she gets any kinds of levels on the opposition, she's going to be able to do a lot. And since she's on Radiant, she doesn't have to worry about those pesky Radiant mid pulls that can shut down that experience gain there. So it should be pretty straightforward as long as she doesn't get ganked up hardcore, and that rank 1 blink should be enough to escape most demises there. But yeah, for right now, Mad Gaming putting an aggressive disable strat coming on out. Batrider with the Flaming Lasso, Beastmaster with the Roar, and to a lesser extent the Boar Slow. Just going to be able to do a lot. Even if they pick up a BKB carry or like a Lifestealer, they're going to be able to do a large amount of disable. The question is the damage going to be there? Are they going to pick up a couple of heroes that dish out a large amount of magical or physical damage? Maybe a Templar Assassin? I don't think that would fit really with their lanes, but it definitely would increase their damage per second there. I think Batrider is probably going to be looking for the mid, Beastmaster on the off lane bottom, and that would leave Rubik hitting on the support up top, supporting with either a lane partner or another jungler, as we have seen eL'Pride taking off the board the Chen and the Lone Druid.
And I mean, I know eL'Pride, they do really favor those aggressive carries, stuff like Chaos Knight, and like you said, they even drafted a Lifestealer, who he's not the most aggressive, but he can be a little more on the aggressive side. We'll have to see what they end up going with. I mean, as far as Mad Gaming's draft sits, really we're looking at maybe like a Chikiro picked up, or even something like a Lina, allows you to set up that stun with the lift from Rubik, and then just something like a Drow or even like an anti-mage or something like that, just a good carry, and they're actually going to go with the Luna.
Yeah, that's
So
really
that's
interesting
a good
there.
pushing... Well, it's a good pushing carry. I mean, it's, again, allows you to kind of split up the map. She can be in a lane on her own. Those glaives allows her to tear down waves very, very easily, and then you could have the other 4 people on your team pushing another lane. You essentially force the enemy to make a decision. Which tower are they going to let down? Because they won't be able to defend both.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, absolutely. So that's going to be interesting as far as the split push potential there. One thing to note is that she is one that relies on a lot of survivability to get that full Eclipse off. She can get to around level 11, and she can get a full duration Eclipse off on, let's say, minimal amounts of creeps, maybe the Hawk on the board, tank a strike individually, but in general, if he can hit on a bunch of heroes with that Eclipse and survive on through the team fight, he can do a large amount of damage. But for that reason, Lion's probably going to have to draft a little bit defensively here, pick up some survivability-oriented heroes that make sure the fight lasts a little bit longer and kind of draws everything out, pick up a mechanism carrier, that kind of thing. So that's going to be pretty essential there to make sure the Luna is well supported. The Nyx Assassin will help in that regard. Probably go on the Nyx Luna. I would probably supplement that with a Heap of the Light myself, just adding in a lot of potential with the Chakra Magic to make sure Mana Burn and Lucent Beam can be spammed out pretty much constantly. That's going to be largely beneficial in the fact that they have a large range of presence with that Lunar Blessing, and with the Lucent Beams themselves have 1,000 range to them, so that's pretty effective. But a lot of things are going to come down to when the mid-game strikes, when Batrider picks up that Blink Dagger, how much mobility is he going to have? Because Luna herself is a very fast hero. She actually has the highest base movement speed in the game, so comparing that to a Batrider, she's easily going to be able to outrun even probably a 4-staff Batrider, but when it comes down to it, the Blink Dagger initiation is going to be the key there, I think, because if he can get on right on top of the Luna and bring her down, or just bring her back into the enemy's clutches there, then you can obviously focus down the carry much more aggressively there. So I think that's generally going to be Mad Gaming's style, and that's why they need to get a more aggressive farm on the Batrider. But Queen of Pain is generally pretty good at going 1v1 do-si-do with the Batriders there, so we'll see how those two individuals fare.
Yeah. I mean, as far as the Batrider Queen of Pain matchup, I agree with you. It's going to be pretty much... I think they're going to break even. Queen of Pain is not one of those people that, once you get like 6 or 7 stacks of sticky napalm up, that he's just going to be able to run over you with the Firefly. You'll be able to blink out of it and escape. I mean, it's some interesting bans coming out here. The Undying and the Magnus, I guess they could have fit those in. I don't know about the Undying, because you don't really want to have like a tri-lane that's supported by 2 melees, like you generally would want, again, like a Lina or a Jakiro or a Shadow Demon. The Magnus they could have thrown into the offlane. He's not the most popular offlaner anymore, but he's definitely a powerful one.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
And then...
Sorry, go on.
I was just going to say, and then we see Mad Gaming, they are committing to the late game. They picked up an Anti-Mage, and as it stands right now, an Anti-Mage could cause havoc with pretty much all 3 of Lion's Pride's heroes.
Absolutely, absolutely. Very, very mana reliant there. If Nyx Assassin can't get that Carapace off, going to be having a lot of issues. Queen of Pain having a naturally large mana pool. She's going to be just this nuclear bomb of a mana void if they can get her in the right position there. Maybe roar her and just control. I mean, one thing that you got to note is that Mad Gaming has 3 positional control mechanisms. I mean, one is just going to keep them stationary with the Primal Roar, but the other 2, Batrider can pull them where he wants with the lasso. Telekinesis moves them a certain direction. So you can clump up people even without a Darkseer or a Magnus here, and that can be very, very beneficial. But they're going to go with the Leshrac. Pretty interesting there. It is great to chain it up with the Impale, and it might indicate that they want to go for an aggressive tri-lane. Go for the Impale, Split Earth, and Lucent Beam, just a large amount of magic damage in a burst, and then of course they all have powerful right-click damage with that Lunar Blessing, so that could definitely be going the way of shutting down Anti-Mage as far as trying to put pressure on the lane. But the one thing you have to keep in mind is that Leshrac is another one of those heroes that gets shut down pretty hard by Anti-Mage. He can blink out of the very predictable stuns. He can go in and just burn down all of Leshrac's mana so that he cannot provide too much support for his team. And the last thing that I kind of feel, they could be like looking at a Bounty Hunter, but I feel their team is a little bit too squishy for that. They need to be looking for something more durable, maybe like a Tide Hunter, maybe something to initiate there. Obviously not the best for laning, but they got to figure something out there. But the Enigma is going to be picked up by Mad Gaming, going along with that hard disable strat. The Beastmaster Roar, the Batrider Lasso, the Black Hole from Enigma, all of these are going to be focused really hardcore on Luna, and I guess on Queen of Pain as well, as she relies so much on that blink to escape on out.
Yeah, I mean, as it stands now, Luna might as well not pick up a BKB, because there's 3 different abilities, like 3 disables on Mad Gaming's side that will just go through it anyways. So if you're looking for survivability, might as well pick up stuff like a Heart, or even just like a Mantis style that'll allow you to kind of dodge a lot of this stuff, because the BKB, it's not going to really affect very much. It'll give you the little bit of HP, and a Naga Siren's going to be the last pickup for eL'Pride, and yeah, I haven't seen Amalga in a very long time. Ever since her base damage went down so much, she's been a bit of a secondary pick compared to a lot of other carries.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I think what they're going to actually do is then put the Luna on a safe lane farming situation, Stalk LP being the primary carry for eL'Pride here, and they're just going to want to go very, very aggressive with Luna's farm and then put in a tri-lane up top. They definitely don't have any suicide lane type heroes, so going up against the Enigma, they know they have a bit of an advantage because it's more of a 2.5 lane than a tri-lane. The Enigma won't be really prevalent until at minimum level 3, but more likely level 4 or 5 when that Malefice gets up to rank 2 there. So they could actually put some aggression there using the Ensnare to try to lock down the anti-mage a little bit more hardcore and kind of transition into an aggressive, just make sure anti-mage doesn't get to that King of the Ring farmed up carry mode and kind of go from there. Along with that, I do like the aspect of the Song of the Siren just kind of interrupting the fight halfway. You see a Bat Rider blink in and pop the lasso. You see a Primal Roar go on out. Immediately you pop off the Song of the Siren and just disengage that, make them waste out those cooldowns so that you can engage on equal footing about 5 seconds later, and that can be extremely, extremely effective depending on how you want to position yourselves there. And of course, Nyx Assassin is a very position-oriented hero as well. If he can get like a 3-man impale by getting in the right vector, that's going to be extremely effective for them. But enough about that. Maybe we want to go into the player draft a little bit, talk about specifically who's going to be picking up what heroes here. Do you want to go with the Radiant or the Dire?
I'll do the Radiant.
Okay.
So, on the Luna, we have Stock LP. On Leshrac, we have Android. Massacre is going to be playing that Naga Siren. Vigoss has his Queen of Pain. And Zacho on the Nyx Assassin. I probably butchered like half of those.
No, sounds good to me. Sounds good to me. So, Creo's going to be picking up the Bat Rider. Then we do have, I guess, Obey B on the Beastmaster. And it looks like he has solo mid items. That's really interesting. Are they going to see a jungle Bat Rider? But then they have the Enigma, so offlane Enigma, I don't know. It's going to be weird how they want to lane this up, but just from Beastmaster's items, my whole world is thrown a little bit askew. Anyways, Anti-Mage is going to be picked up by Jaral, and then it's going to be Sing Tao Sky, or just Sky, as he's listed in the DotaBro registry there on the Enigma, going for that quick soul ring. And then we do also have Phoenix on Rubik here. So Phoenix is going to be definitely picking up the supportive role, and obviously going to be trying to make sure that Anti-Mage gets as much farm as possible. But from there, it's hard to say. The recipe early for Soul Ring and the Ring of Protection indicates that Enigma either wants to go Tranquil Soul Ring or Basilius Soul Ring. Either way, he's going to have a lot of mana to work with, but I'm really not sure where he wants to put it. If he's going to go for the bottom lane, that is very dangerous, but if he's up against 1v1 against the Luna, he won't have too many issues controlling that lane there. So it'll be interesting how they want to go with it.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it looks like the Beastmaster is going for that fast bottle, so, I mean, it could be that they drafted it this way, saw that eL'Pride kind of reacted to that draft, and they're just mixing up their lanes a little bit so that those perfect matchups are thrown into, a bit of a wrench thrown into the works. And it looks like, yeah, we do have Beastmaster sitting on that mid lane, and maybe an off-lane Bat Rider would be my guess.
Yeah, it's really weird, really weird. I guess, yeah, Sky's going to go for a quick deny on the bottom creeps and then head over to the jungle with those Eidolons he's acquired from Demonic Conversion. And from there, yeah, he's going to let the Bat Rider go for the offlane 1v1 versus Luna. That generally will favor the Bat Rider, as he is just an amazing 1v1er, and they're actually on pretty equal footing as far as attack range there, 375 on the Bat Rider compared to 330 on the Luna, so he has a little bit of advantage there, and the Napalm stacking up when there's no magic stick on the line is going to be very devastating in controlling that lane there. But on the middle lane, it's going to be a little bit of a different story. I think Vigoss is going to have quite a bit of control, as long as he avoids and keeps in mind what the board can do. If it goes to level 2 Call of the Wild early on, there is going to be a lot of rune control for the Beastmaster, but it really comes down to who's going to be ganking, transitioning in. The supports on top lane can really go to any lane, top or mid.
Yeah, I mean, Queen of Pain against any melee mid will be in favor of the Queen of Pain. I mean, you can see he's already put an early point in that Shadow Strike, and every time Beastmaster comes up to get a single last hit, that's going to be thrown out, and we actually have Anti-Mage coming mid now for some reason.
Yeah, I guess he's seeing the tri-lane there, wants to make sure that he can get some reliable farm, and yeah, they're not going to have any of that. They're not going to have to deal with the 3-man, the Ensnare, the Impale, the Split Earth, all that stuff. He just wants to say, hey, I'm going to farm, I'm going to go with low harass, and they're going to transition up. Apparently the Beastmaster up top instead, so a lot of lane swapping, a little bit of musical lanes, I suppose, going on through between these guys here. But in the end, Joral's going to be going up against toe-to-toe against Vigoss. And if he can get some early mana break, he can put some pressure on this Queen of Pain here. But instead, it's going to be Phoenix, the one that's taking a lot of harassment from that Shadow Strike and auto attacks, and actually going in for the body block and blink. But no, Telekinesis comes up, Impale, the splitters will come down. Will Phoenix take a fall? It is going to be denied by Anti-Mage. Huge play.
Beautiful deny.
Oh, that's awesome.
That is, and like I said, Mad Gaming, they are skilled players, and that right there, having the mindset to know that, hey, he's thrown a Shadow Strike out, so I could deny him. Yeah. And being able to sneak that in at the last second, avoid the first blood. It's, again, like I said at the beginning of the draft, these guys are skilled, and I can't wait to see what they'll bring.
Yeah, that is really interesting there. I didn't see that coming at all. I mean, I know obviously Shadow Strike is a deniable thing, and that makes sure that first blood is still on the table. Nobody has picked it up just yet, and of course, we're reducing the amount of experience they'll acquire from it and no gold. So that's gonna Phoenix does not mind that one little bit, but instead there's another transition coming in with the Impale with the splitter. This is gonna be the first blood. They wanted double deny would be a little bit too much wishful thinking there. I would love to see it, but I think Vigoss was a little bit better timing with the Shadow Strike to make sure that, or actually they were all better just timing with their last hitting skills, making sure all three of them kind of struck simultaneously. Anti-Mage didn't stand a chance there, but nevertheless, that's a lot of pressure they're putting on mid lane right here, so it's kind of a rotation of this dry lane, making sure no matter where Joral goes, they're going to follow him, they're going to put the pressure out. Meanwhile, Luna is farming decently on bottom lane, only 5 last hits for the time being, but as she picks up different items that help her sustainability in lane, whether it be the Aquila or the Tranquil Boots, she'll be getting better and better in that situation. And start off with the Magic Stick, just to make sure the Napalm harass isn't too extensive there.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, she only does have 6 blast hits, but it's, if you look at her who she's up against and also the anti-mage, she's keeping up with them. So I mean, as it stands, it's okay, especially since their Naga has essentially free farm at this point. Up to 17 last hits already. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a very fast Radiance come out.
And actually, on the bottom lane, did not see a transition coming on down there, but it was actually the Impale and Splitter combo that's just been wreaking havoc across the map and allowing them to get the Batrider kill. And on the top lane, it was actually Naga Siren diving up with that rank 3 Riptide to bring down the Beastmaster. So a lot of action going on, a little bit unpredictable in where it's going, just pretty much like, I guess the transition bottom should have been a little bit more obvious, but that solo kill generally is unheard of. You don't see things like that happening, especially on a Beastmaster who generally has a pretty high base strength. So yeah, Massacre pulling it out and making sure that he can have a nice 1v1 situation there, while Enigma Sky just tries to get some farm going and try to capitalize on the fact that Enigma is one of the fastest junglers in the game.
Yeah, I mean, with any luck, they'll be able to start pulling this together. I mean, if you look at eL'Pride, they do have the much more favorable early game team. They've got a lot of early burst, and with that double stun, they can pretty much crush anybody they come across. But with any luck, we'll start, like, once Enigma hits around that level 6, we'll start seeing some good black holes. We do see Enigma smoked up, along with the Rubik's, so they might be looking to take down Naga or something like that. It looks like, yeah, there is some pings up at the top lane. But yeah, once we see the Roar come out, the Lasso, the Black Hole, hopefully we'll be able to see them start responding with some counter ganks, or even just pick-offs of their own, doing some smoke ganks as well.
We do see Android in mid lane getting hit by the Malefist, looking for the Telekinesis, will come on down. There's a lot of damage from the Anti-Mage. Nice stun on Vigoss as well. The last right click will go down to Enigma's Eidolons. Vigoss wants a piece of Phoenix and will be able to get him, not missing uphill and blinking on away. Nice double damage rune, securing a 1-for-1 exchange there, which otherwise wouldn't have been the case. Meanwhile, on bottom lane, Zako going to come in for that Impale. The Batrider is going to pop off the Firefly, get on over that cliff into the impassable terrain, and will be able to walk on away just barely. Meanwhile, Joral in mid lane is taking a lot of harassment from that Quap, but the Tranquil Boots will help out in that respect, actually giving more HP per second than the Ring of Health. So it's going to be able to make sure that he can sustain the lane very, very effectively. But meanwhile, on top lane, Naga Siren is pretty much having the time of her life, just farming away, 31 CS there. And although she isn't the hardest carry in the game, she does have illusions, she does have a nice armor reduction ability, and she can amplify her physical damage quite a bit. So in the end, she does have quite a bit of presence, and if she can get items like Diffusal Blade, that really adds on into it.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, we see a little bit of disruption of the pull, or of the stack, I would say. And yeah, if we see a very fast Radiance out of this Naga, you get those illusions up, and it's just insane the amount of, even just the Radiance burn on its own, the amount of damage that it will do is ridiculous in fights. And at that point, like, the Ensnare will pretty much guarantee you kills. Here we go, we see an Ensnare onto the Beastmaster as well.
The so B's going to do a little bit of damage in turn, but they're going to be able to bring him down, and that's the key thing there. Queen of Pain coming on in. They did have a transition with the smoke, Leshrac and the Nyx Assassin being able to come on through. Now finding out Rubik, looking for more. They do have the ensnare, popping it off on Phoenix right here, and the Telekinesis is going to do a nice little stun on Massacre and Zako, but not going to be enough for that splitter to secure the kill. Nyx Assassin picking up, and just look at the KDA right now. Look at the experience advantage it's accrued. You're looking at a 2300, 201 for the Queen of Pain, Nyx Assassin. They're all getting the levels they need to kind of steamroll out of control, and we're really going to have to see some big team fight ultimates coming out of MG to really bring this together. Mad Gaming need to kind of get their act together in that sense. They have the Soul Ring and the Basilius up on Enigma. He is able to be very mobile, very active, but surprisingly, Kriya on the bottom lane is being harassed back by this Luna. She has the Aquila, Tranquil Boots, and Magic Wand. Now she has so much sustainability on the lane that she's forcing back Batrider over and over. So they're going to look to change this right here with the rank 1 Telekinesis, with the, there's the Stalk LP coming in, aggressive Flame Break in, there's the Telekinesis, pull her back, and there's the Malphite as well. Will it be enough damage? She has the Eclipse with too many Eidolons, it's not going to be worth it to pop it. Instead getting slowed up by 3 Napalm stacks, and she's going to drop down with one more right click is all they need. Do they have Flame Break? They do, and they will pop it off to bring her down. So Creo picking up that kill, and that's really what they needed to put points on the board. Shut down this Luna, get a couple kills under their belt, and get some gold rolling on their team, because right now their supports are extremely gold deprived, sitting at 114 and 154 for the Batrider and Rubik.
Yeah, I mean, and this is the smart thing. This is what they need to be doing. Just kind of play defensively. They definitely need to avoid falling into this aggressive style of Lion's Pride, especially since they have a very aggressive lineup. Because if they can outlast and allow this Anti-Mage even to get a Battle Fury up, things will turn around so heavily for them. And I mean, part of this, I think, is just seeing the experience, like just pure experience. I mean, when you have players like Vigoss, who's been in the Dota scene forever, really, going up against... And Mad Gaming has good individual skill. I think this is just a matter of them kind of solidifying the actual play.
Yeah, and we're seeing that play right here, the aggression going in there. Not able to pick up the Anti-Mage, able to blink on out, just a slippery little fellow there, but the Rubik is going to take a fall, just a lot of aggression. The second double damage run of the game on Vigoss here. He's just using it to its optimum effectiveness, just getting a lot of big right clicks off the rank 1 Shadow Strike, helping in that regard. He doesn't have much mana to spare for the time being, so not going to be able to push on this tower more than a little bit harassment from the illusions, but the fact of the matter is they have control of the map right now. They, as far as wards go, don't have too much going on. I mean, one was controlling the rune spawn until it just now expired, but once they start putting up wards, and they do have some on the left rack, they're going to be able to just go into this full aggressive spree. The tier 1 is down up top, the mid lane has been pressured extensively. Anti-Mage is only sitting on a Vitality booster just for defensive play there, probably picking up a Vanguard when he finishes up that Ring of Health, but the fact of the matter is they're very scared right now. Jorald really needs some big items, and he needs them fast, and right now they're so pressured that I don't know if he's going to have the time to farm them before there's just too much pressure coming out of stock LP.
Yeah, I mean, when you have an Anti-Mage, this is definitely not the situation you want to be in. I mean, at this point, you would hope that he would at least have like the Perseverance, or maybe one of the two blades for like either the Broadsword or the Claymore for his Battle Fury. But at this point, either he's going to be using this Vitality booster for a Vanguard, or just hang on to it and eventually build it into a Heart. But it's 10 minutes in, and he hasn't even gotten started on a Battle Fury. There's 6 kills behind a couple a tower. This is not exactly what you want, because at this point they're just going to end up getting pushed down before their Anti-Mage can become relevant.
So stalking up on Sky, up on the top lane there, they want to try to bring him down with that haste room instead transitioning back on mid. Anti-Mage's Blink is rank 2, so he will have a little bit more potential on getting out of a sticky situation. Going aggressive here, the Roar pops on. They have the last one, not going to use it as Anti-Mage just does too much right click, but back up top, we were looking at Vigoss stalking up Sky up there in that haste rune, allowing them to close the gap and do the damage they needed to continue the split push that they've been kind of having ongoing. Massacre just continuously riptiding down the creep wave and trying to put pressure on this tier 2 tower up top, and now there is a response for Mad Gaming. There has to be. Then they have to contest every tier 2 tower they can at this stage. Tier 1s are a pretty big deal, but they're forgivable to be lost, but if you lose a tier 2 tower, that is going to give a huge amount of early game momentum to the opposition that you just can't afford right now.
Tower is under attack.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing all right in that they're maintaining the other towers they have. Because it's not just the gold, like tower gold, it's one of those things that it's a static amount. The other team will always be able to grab it But the map control is the biggest thing, especially as Dire. You want to hang on to that because you have that slight Roshan advantage, but if you lose all your tier 1s, then all of a sudden the enemy team can just easily sneak in, grab that Roshan, and next thing you know, they're taking down tier 2s. And there you go, they take down the mid tier 1, so that map control's already starting to slip out, and when you've got somebody like an anti-mage who wants to just be able to blink around, go around the entire jungle, kill everything, having that lack of vision is definitely going to hinder him.
Yeah, definitely. So, one thing I really think they need to do is just kind of get together. They popped off their ultimate for one quick gank effectively. They have the smoke ready and raring to go, but they really need to just get Beastmaster's man up, group up as 4 heroes, and smoke up together and have just one hero farming the entire time through. So that would allow them to get not only gold from the victorious team fight, but also kind of go on through. But as far as landing a big black hole right now, it's going to be extremely difficult. Looking at the stuns coming out of eL'Pride, there is, with some delay, the Split Earth, there's no delay at all on the Lucent Beam, and then there's the Impale and Spike Carapace. And of note on the Spike Carapace, if Nyx gets caught in the black hole, but he pops off the Carapace just a moment before, then it will stun it out on the first tick of damage. So, the fact of the matter is, it's going to be very difficult to get one that lasts more than 1 second right here, and I think that's what they're trying to shape up for, an appropriate initiation, but Nyx isn't going to let them have it. Zako bumping off rank 1 Vendetta, sees Obey B in the jungle. The question is, can they converge on him? They also note Phoenix is there. 2 base armor, so he'll take a lot of damage if he wants to engage here, but they're all kind of stocking up on Massacre, and it looks like the Nyx Assassin's just going to act as a scout to make sure that they can't close the gap here to try to bring her down.
Yeah, and Jorl did end up going for a Vanguard, and that's one of those things that you haven't seen Vanguards on an anti-mage for quite some time. That was the kind of popular thing back at like the International 1 days. Give you an idea of how long it's been. And the big reason is because you just pick up normally you pick up a Battle Fury and you can just grab a heart very, very quickly. And this shows just how much fear is in Mad Gaming right now. They need to pick up as much defensive items as they can. And I mean, I don't know if it'll bite them in the ass later, but I'm not a huge fan of that pickup.
It definitely shows that they're in a very defensive situation. It was very common in the fact that they were kind of approaching a push metagame in the days of the overpowered Anti-Mage, and that was a situation where Anti-Mage, although he could come online a lot earlier than other carries, it was still not fast enough for Chens who were knocking down towers at 2 minutes, 4 minutes in, and that was the Vanguard pickup was a defensive pickup to allow him to actually sustain in the fight, because that mana break alone does quite a bit of damage once he skills it up, but for the time being he just really wants to survive and not get locked down here, but it's going to be difficult with this Vendetta coming on in. The Snare goes out, they're going to be able to pop this off, the Impale will go on through, the Riptide, and Split Earth will make sure of it. Jorl is going to take a fall here, and that is his first death of the game actually, but 1-1-1 is great skill build to start off with and not so much on the KDA. He wants to be able to make sure he can farm in peace and try to keep the kills off the board. If he can get some on the board for himself, great, but he most likely wants to avoid death as much as possible. And that happened even after the Vanguard, just showing how much disable is coming out of eL'Pride right here, just making sure that they can lock him down as much as possible, and that ensnare being probably the most important aspect of that, with the 5-second disable of his blink.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, Lion's Pride is in the driver's seat. We see the Naga's songs coming out, allows everyone to TP in, and now we're just going to see an absolute massacre.
Exactly, hence the name. Massacre setting it up, and he's just going to be able to bring it down really, really quickly. Good timing, good coordination, they all communicated. The TPs do get delayed the more people that jump on a single tower, but the fact of the matter is that 7-second duration is going to be plenty of time for them to get in position to lock the opposition down. And they were spread out well effectively enough that they didn't have to worry about the black hole, but they were able to clean up every single one of those kills there and just completely annihilate the opposition. So it wasn't even a fight, it was definitely a very, very clean set of kills for eL'Pride, and they're going to take a tier 2 as a direct result of that. Axes fly out, but not going to be able to counterpush nearly enough.
And, I mean, at this point, the amount of map that's available to Mad Gaming is restricted to a tiny, tiny little corner. And when you have heroes like a Batrider who wants to just be able to Firefly around, pick up the jungle very, very easily, Anti-Mage who wants to just blink around, pick up the jungle very, very easily, this is not the situation you want. I mean, we're going to see a Roshan be picked up here, and it's going to go 100% uncontested. There is literally no way that Mad Gaming could fight this.
And you just look at the... Actually, they're trying to fight it, but there comes Vendetta Initiation on the Beastmaster. Won't even get a chance to drop his roar off. He just gets completely obliterated. Possibly could have popped the Riptide off sooner and make sure the damage was amplified, but not a big deal. They were able to bring him down no time at all. And you just got to look at the Dire Ward right now. They do only have about a minute and a half in the remainder of them, but the fact of the matter is they're controlling most of the jungle camps, most of the entrances here. They pretty much they cannot leave their jungle, and with the counter warding up here, they know that the Radiant can't tell when they're coming. So pretty much they can just be aggressive, play in this area here, use the Nyx Assassin to initiate with that Vendetta. It should be closing on rank 2 right now, obviously only level 8, but he does have a Blink Dagger instead, so fixing that mobility issue right up there. And he's going to be able to, yeah, jump in wherever he needs to and pop off the stun, bring somebody down for quick and easy pickoffs, which is kind of what we've been seeing all game, him initiating and just Android following up very, very effectively there. So they're getting more and more farmed as far as gold goes. They 15,000 advantage as well in the past, and now we're looking at a couple different items that...
You look at the supports compared, like, Mad Gaming, they're sitting on basic boots and, like, a couple wards, whereas Android has got himself a Ghost Scepter, he's got himself his Arcanes, Nyx Assassin has that Blink Dagger, he's got himself some Arcanes, Vigoss just finished a Sheepstick. Like, the amount of pure farm that's on Lion's Pride is just ridiculous at this point. And I don't want to call games early, but I don't know if there's much that Mad Gaming can do to pull this back.
Mm-hmm. I definitely hear what you're saying, but one thing you got to mention is that we haven't even seen a single black hole, not even an attempt, not even a solo kill black hole. They need to at least try to utilize their heroes effectively. I mean, the spell steal is available. There's really great abilities they could take off the board, get an Eclipse inside a black hole. I mean, there's definitely the potential there, but as we're seeing, I mean, a Sheepstick on Queen of Pain, that's such an expensive item that adds so much to their momentum right here. It's going to be so difficult. They have to pretty much have like 3 impeccable teamfights in a row in order for this to work out for them, and right now it's just getting worse and worse as all their farm routes are cut off. The Radiant are roaming around their jungle, eL'Pride controlling every single camp. They just kind of are picking up the scraps in the mid and top lane that are gradually pushed on towards them, but it's not going to be enough in the end. I mean, the fact of the matter is Enigma wants to continue to farm up the jungle, gank up on the lanes, and get big items like the Blink Dagger, the BKB really early on, but those aren't going to happen anytime soon. Instead, it's going to be towers falling by the wayside as the eL'Pride just continues to be relentless in this regard.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little insane when, and like you said, they haven't even attempted to use Black Hole, and I understand that you want to save it to get that big 4-man Black Hole and stuff like that, but spells are there to be used. I mean, there's no point in having it on cooldown for like 10 minutes. Like, just use it to get a kill on Vigoss or Massacre or something. Just use it for something, and a couple minutes later you'll be able to you have it up again, like, rather than just constantly dying and going, I probably should have Black Holed there.
Absolutely. And the initiation ball is all in eL'Pride's court. They can jump in, they have the Blink Dagger and Nyx on Queen of Pain. She just naturally has that potential. And so you can just see easy lockdowns, easy pickoffs. Anytime they farm up for the creep wave, they're going to have issues. Even Anti-Mage right here is scared for his life just by being ensnared. And the Mana Burn, he's out. He cannot actually survive because the Diffusal Blade plus the Nyx Assassin, they're kind of combining the Mana Burns. He has to walk on back to base, no blink for you, and now there is the Sonic Wave popping off, and that's not going to be able to bring anybody down. Instead, there is a Black Hole there. Oh my gosh!
It's an air ball!
We talked about using your abilities, and they most certainly did right there, but all 3 on the same target. They really wanted a Vigoss kill right there. That is really interesting how they brought that down, but they could go for Massacre right there. The Song of the Siren will come on out. She has that TP scroll, will most likely use it, unless they want to initiate. Zako has that stun. Android, of course, has that follow-up. Starting off with B, he was outside of the Song of the Siren, so he will be the first to fall. Now looking at Anti-Mage, Bloodstrike taking a lot of damage, and that Mana Void. I was talking about how vulnerable he is with that large Mana Pool, and he's going to get locked down, but same thing with an Anti-Mage in turn, Joral getting ensnared up and locked down pretty hardcore. Buybacks coming out. Queen of Pain already bought back, did a little bit of action on the mid lane, and Leshrac will have to buy back in turn. Now putting some pressure on Phoenix, does get sheeped up. The Batrider is back in, but no lasso, just a flame break, just trying to Firefly up. Massacre will most likely fall. No, the Nyx Assassin stun will take long enough for him to survive. No, flame break hitting him on the back end. Turn around back and forth right here. Vigoss hiding in the trees, looking for some stuns, looking for some damage, and they're going to find it. Trio going to get locked down here, and they're going to be able to take down the mid racks because of it. There's all 5 in the grave. They are actually pretty low levels, so their death timer is pretty short, but the fact of the matter is the Aegis Immortal is still up on Luna. She's going to tank up that 2 of the grave, and from there just be able to bring down anything that they need.
Yeah, I mean, when your Anti-Mage doesn't even have a Yasha yet, he's got Tranquils and a Vanguard, and the enemy carry has a full Manta, Drums, Aquila, Tranquils, you're in a bad place. Like, as it stands now, you're going to see all these buybacks coming out of eL'Pride because they're looking to end the game right now. All they want to do is take down a set of racks and secure the game. I mean, they do take a tier 3 down, and they'll fall back a little bit, most likely just kind of to allow people to spend the gold they earned in that last engagement and get their health and mana pools back up, and then we'll see them go right back into it. I mean, they have so much that allows them to team fight and clear creeps, although we do see Android, he was being a little reckless with that Pulse Nova, kind of being a sparkle pony in the middle of nowhere and pays for it, but...
Yeah, I think the 450 radius is a little bit outclassed by Telekinesis and Malefice and a couple other key abilities that, you know, can completely screw you over when you're going in 1v5. But, you know, that's just a bit of an understatement. Obviously out of position there, and he's going to obviously pay for it. But from there, I don't think it's going to cost them too much. Right now, they're sitting 20-7. They have actually every single tower up, almost on full life. Like the tier 1, mid, and top are on half about, but everything else has just been uncontested completely, and they can just continue to do slow pushes from the Naga Siren, keep the damage coming. She's going to have a Manta style pretty soon of her own, and yeah, they're just going to keep on doing what they've been doing. Vigoss getting so farmed up, has that Scythe of Ice bought back at like level 13, and still has a whopping 2,200 gold right there, so he's going to have a lot at his disposal, be able to work with it there. But the Blink Dagger is finally out in Batrider, and I was talking about how that could be a deciding factor in the game. I don't know if it's too little too late, but at least it will help in trying to turtle this up. They obviously want to stay in. This is a best of 1, so that means that they are going to get eliminated if they do lose this, and for that reason they're going to give it their all. But the Nyx Assassin stun coming down on actually just the axes. It's kind of amusing there as he's looking for his mechanism, but nothing happened for the time being. They're just kind of drawing the line, trying to hold them off at the bare minimum, just kind of saying that they need to hold on to the racks and pushing them off with their long range abilities. Don't want to commit to anything just yet, but gradually the racks will continue to fall, and they have to do something.
If you look at this play, they are threatening all 3 sets of racks at the same time. Vigoss is pushing by himself, then you've got Massacre who's looking to push by himself, a complete airball of a black hole on just Naga illusions.
This guy's going to take a fall with the Blink Initiation and the Scream going on through. Joral did get cheaped up for the time being, but will pop off a nice Mana Void onto Vigoss to try to bring him down. Instead, the Diffusal comes out. He's running for his life. The Scream will not be enough for that rank 3 spell shield coming on through, but meanwhile, Stock LP was able to survive on through the lasso in bottom lane and pops off his Manta style, glaives everywhere, going to be able to bring down the bottom racks, and looking at the top and the mid, Massacre. I'm not sure why he popped off the Song of Siren there. I don't think he needed it to pull out of the situation there, but he just didn't want to take too much damage from that anti-mage. So yeah, the racks are falling rapidly. No points in Edict from Leshrac, so it's going to take a while to bring them down, but the bottom is falling, the top are actually about to drop, and then from there the mid, of course, will provide them mega creeps to win the game right here. So I gotta say that is most certainly GG at this point in time. Well played to eL'Pride, as they've just been so very aggressive. Hasn't been called out yet, but you gotta know. I mean, that many Naga illusions, that much mana burn, and here it comes. Phoenix calling out the GG, and eL'Pride just relentless. And just very linear in how they've taken this game in stride, ganking around, staying mobile, staying active, and taking the picks where they needed to.
Well, and again, like I had said earlier in the game, I think this is just simply a matter of eL'Pride has so many experienced players that they knew they could be this hyper-aggressive style and crush down Mad Gaming. And we actually see Ghost Scepter pops to avoid the fountain, and that Mana Void just hurts that extra little bit. But so it's Mad Gaming has individual skill, and I certainly hope they stick with it, because I think they could definitely make something very impressive if they keep working at this and get their experience back up. You're gonna lose, especially when you go up against like a huge team like eL'Pride. It's going to happen because they have that much more time spent in this game. But well played by eL'Pride. They win this one.
Yeah, a lot of time invested, but a lot of experience just showing on through their playstyle there. And honestly, didn't get it to cast any really big team fights. There weren't major exchanges. Almost every single one of the kills there were just random pickoffs where somebody was caught out. It was a 3 versus 1. It wasn't some crazy gigantic play individually, but it was just very methodical and good timing approach to kind of bring on into it. They were able to make sure that the enemy was on the back foot constantly, kept the pressure out, kept the aggression rolling, and obviously we're able to come out on top as a direct result of that. So nice action from everybody on eL'Pride. Do you have any more closing thoughts on this?
No, I mean, I definitely think that eL'Pride, I'm not going to say that they're going to win the whole thing, but they're definitely the threat within this whole tournament. We'll have to see who they end up going against, but people are going to have to find some way to deal with this hyper-aggressive style of theirs. And I mean, I guess what you could do is try and crush down Vigoss and Massacre. Those are kind of the two leverage points of the entire team. They really rely on Vigoss getting his early bit of farms, then he can start running around. They put him on a ganker like a Night Stalker or even like a Chaos Knight or a Queen of Pain. They want him to get a little bit of farm and he can and levels and just start running around and create room for the rest of his team. So I don't know. I think if teams focus on crushing Vigoss, then we might see them do a bit better, but...
Sure enough. There was a lot of momentum for that Queen of Pain. I cannot deny that. It wasn't just her alone. I mean, it wasn't just Vigoss rocking down the world on Beastmaster and then into Anti-Mage, but it was really the transitions coming on through. I gotta say, MVP were Zako and Android together as a pair. They were ganking all over the map and making sure that they had control. We haven't seen the double support roam in quite a long time. It used to be very common. You were talking about a little bit referencing the international days, and from there, International 1, it was like Sven, Lina roaming together, huge initiation stuns, and then Nyx Assassin and Leshrac really pulled it off here in pretty much the same style. So very, very effective, very gank-oriented, very active, and they've been all over the map. So very, very nice plays. But in the end, 25-minute win coming out. eL'Pride taking down Team Mad Gaming. So they're going to proceed on into, I guess, the finals, whereas the consolation finals will be where Mad Gaming is going to have to go on to see if they can take third place at the very least. Alright, well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll go on to another game in approximately 5 minutes. Just going to be taking a little bit, and it'll get going. It's scheduled for the top of the hour. So I'll put on some music in the meantime, and thank you guys so much for tuning in.